So today's gonna be pretty special. By the way, that's Will. We are going to compare two autofocus beasts and see which one comes out on top. We'll be testing out Sony's brand new real-time autofocus tracking with the Sony a6400 versus the Canon 6D with the ever so famous dual pixel autofocus. Which one will do better? Okay, so first test is gonna be a walking test. I'm just gonna place the camera right over here as you see me walk. There we go. Which one is better?
A6400.
Yes! Did you see that? The a6400 did better. Oh, Sony for the win. Now we're gonna do a running test.
They were close. I think the a6400 popped up just
a little bit? Okay, I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna serpentine.
A6400.
A6400! A6400 wins again! Whoa! Okay, cool. I'll just pop up. I'll do a pop up. I'm gonna pop up. Pop up. And 1, 2, 3.
A6400.
Oh man! See, I didn't realize it at first, but when I first played with the Sony a6400, I noticed that the real-time autofocus tracking was really smooth and really fast. But I was like, no way that's gonna beat Canon's dual pixel autofocus, but I think it just did. If anything else, what we've seen is that they're really, really close. So Sony's real-time autofocus tracking is the real thing, and quite possibly just slightly better than Canon's dual pixel autofocus. So we just did an autofocus test shooting in 24 frames for both cameras, and so now we're going to shoot in slow motion and test out the autofocus performance there. Both cameras will be set to shoot at 60 frames a second in full HD, so we'll see what happens. Which is better?
I think it was A6400.
Man, let's do it again. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna serpentine.
A6400 by a landslide.
Really?
When you spun around the first time, it caught your face, and then went back, and then you did it over here.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, we noticed something interesting. When I spun around into the whole serpentine thing, what did you say? The Canon lost the autofocus box? Wow, okay, but the Sony, even when they didn't see my face. So the Sony autofocus, the real-time autofocus tracking, kept that autofocus box on my face even though I turned around. That's some voodoo magic, man. Wow. That test was pretty surprising. I really thought the Canon was gonna win, but I was really surprised at the results. This time, what we're gonna do is that we are going to shoot at one object and we are going to pan both cameras. I'll be standing right over there and we'll see which camera will perform better in autofocus, focusing from the pillar and to myself. All right, you ready, Will?
Ready.
Let's do it. All right, what are the results?
Sony's way faster. faster.
Which one is?
Sony.
Sony is, oh. Did you hear that? Did you? Sony did better. That's crazy. So based up from what you've seen, because obviously you've been manning the camera, both cameras, what were the differences between the two autofocus performances?
So what I noticed was, starting here, they were both in focus. When I went to you, the Canon took a lot longer, one, to put the box on your face, and two, once the box was on your face, it took a lot longer to get into focus. And the same happened when I went back to the pillar. Almost instantly, the Sony was in focus on the pillar, and the Canon took a good while, a whole, like, I think 3 seconds before I got in focus again.
Wow. So I didn't mention this before, but on the Canon 6D Mark II, we have the 16 to 35 L series lens, and here we have the Sony 18 to 35 kit lens. The idea was to use native lenses for each camera, and so I know it's not like comparing apples to apples, but we thought this was the best test to use native lenses for each camera. So all in all, we did our absolute best to match the settings for each camera, same ISO, same aperture, using the default autofocus settings for both cameras. You know, what you see is what you get, and so I'm not saying this because I'm a Sony shooter. Yes, I do shoot with Sony cameras, but I also love shooting with Canon, and I really thought that shooting with Canon for this test would outperform the Sony, but I don't know, man. What you see is what you get. Wait for this car. It's gonna be a drug deal or something. What are you doing up over here? Smell that? Well, we're witnesses. So we're gonna go downstairs and take both cameras, and we're just gonna shoot some B-roll, both in slow motion and in 24p, and just kind of compare the autofocus performance for both cameras. You ready? Woo! All right, guys, well, that is it. That is the comparison between Sony's real-time autofocus tracking versus Canon's dual-pixel autofocus. So hopefully this test was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. A thumbs up if you liked this video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.